Welcome to Old Guy Tech,
the OGT.TV recording studio.
Technology for the rest of us.
Hi, I'm Rob Charney, Old Guy Tech TV, and I'm here today with James Stevens and Jonathan Charney for our roundtable discussion. And this is Roundtable Friday, so this is where we bring news from all kinds of different things, from hair to iPads. So we got all kinds of things to talk about.
Who wants a hairy iPad?
Who wants a hairy iPad? I don't know. So Jonathan, you're going to go first?
Yeah. Are any of you, or all of you, or any of you a fan of the Olympics?
Sure, absolutely. I'm a fan of the Olympics.
Parts of it.
Well, this is pretty cool. YouTube and NBC will live stream the entire 2012 Olympics for free.
Way cool.
Wait a minute, all of it?
All of it.
According to the story, it says YouTube and NBC will live stream the entire summer 2012 Olympics for free.
That's cool, because I was kind of upset that they didn't do
any of the shooting stuff.
Yeah, the shooting stuff for the fencing.
Right.
They didn't have that much fencing last year.
Yeah, and this will give us the opportunity to see trap shooting, because trap shooting's a big one in it, and the triathlon.
Is this summer or winter Olympics?
This is summer. Yeah,
so they have all the cool stuff.
It's going to be summer in London. It's in London.
I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan.
Are they allowed to bring guns out in London?
I don't know.
I'm not a big. I'm not a big.
Legitimate question, actually.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I'm not a big fan of fencing, unless they did, like the old school,
Well, those guys are actually really talented. It's not what you think. They actually have a lot of good skill. Some of them do still do the kind of stiff stance, but
I don't know. I've just generally have never been a big fan of the high, because it's stylized fencing, fighting. But it won't be streamed on YouTube. According to the story I read, it's going to be at NBCOlympics.com, but it's going to be using YouTube's infrastructure.
Oh, really? So, my curiosity is how much commercials are they going to throw into it, or are they going to stream it non-interrupted?
That's a good question. It doesn't say. My
They
guess
probably
is
have to do commercials.
It'll be
If
commercial.
it's ABC, they're going to throw in some type of... Well, I mean, other than the ads and banners on the sides.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to have to. And I'm assuming if I was YouTube, I'd want some ads.
My thing is, if they're doing it YouTube, then they could stick a banner up there. That's fine. But my thing is, are they really going to interrupt it a lot? I'm sure there is downtime in between. You don't really want to watch, but sometimes it's kind of interesting to see like the coaches giving tips to the people and things like that. So if they do that and they interrupt it, that's where I'm going to be a little bit. But it's still really cool that they're going to stream it all.
This is for a friend of mine. A friend of mine's a big cycling nut. So it says, but if you wanted to catch the live cycling action down at the London Velodrome, you're out of luck now. So no cycling apparently.
Oh, well, wait a minute. On one hand, they're saying they're going to live stream everything. On the other hand, they're not going to do the velodrome with the bikes.
This says, but if you wanted to catch the live cycling action at the London Velodrome, you were out of luck until now.
Until now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that makes more sense.
So my friend Ben's going to love the fact he can geek out on cycling, since he'll be the only person watching it.
A lot of people love cycling. It is kind of interesting to watch it. I mean, it's kind of like whoever thought speed skating was cool, but then all of a sudden you start watching it and it's going, there's a lot of
Apollo Antonov.
Well, my thing was the curling. That was boring.
Isn't that the age-old argument about that?
But there was the one
sport.
Yeah, but there was one last year that was actually pretty interesting. I think it was a matchup between Canada and like Switzerland or something that was actually somewhat exciting because they actually were really, really into it instead of some of the other teams that are like, I couldn't pass for anything else, so that's kind of what it seems like.
That's as close to the Olympics as I would ever get. But
I think I finally figured out how it's a sport.
It's not in Summer Olympics. It's
I finally figured out how curling's a sport. It's because when you get a bunch of drunk Canadians, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, but who really said, let's go get the brooms out of there?
A bunch of drunk
heat
Canadians.
Up the ice and see how far we can shove a stone.
A bunch of drunk French Canadians.
I'll tell you what, it's very, when you want to get into the details of what that sport is, they talk about how the stones are made.
Interesting.
It is, because they talk about how the stones are made. It's very specific. I think it comes out of one quarry somewhere in Scotland only.
Yeah.
And
Scotland.
And it's very specific, and I can see... I don't know that I would ever be able to go to Olympics with it, but that's about the only sport I would have been good enough to make the Olympics. I can tell you that much.
Underwater basket weaving.
Well, because I can't hold my breath that long either, so I don't know if that'd work.
Well, blue's such a lovely color on you.
Blue. Okay, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. So, James.
All right, so you guys ready to get a little outraged?
Yeah, let's get outraged.
Okay, so this is an update. This update was put out on March 8th.
So yesterday.
Right.
At 2:56 p.m. So
that's oddly specific.
There's a reason for this. Now, this is yesterday. The news told people about Amanda Clayton from Michigan, a 24-year-old who won $1 million in the lotto last year. Hold on. I have more to tack onto this one than just the normal stuff. So she won $1 million in the lotto and continued to collect $200 a month in food stamp benefits. Now, she said when she was confronted by the news, she said, "I feel that it's okay because this is a quote. I feel that it's okay because I have no income and I have bills to pay. I have 2 houses." She bought a new house, new car, and then collected $200 in food stamps. She was getting rent from the other house. She wasn't living in it. She bought a new house, moved in the new house, and allowed renters into the other house. She has no income.
How much did she win?
$1 million.
She got $1 million. She went for the lump sum.
Okay, so she's got the most. She won actually $1 million that she pocketed. And then,
she got $1 million. She took the lump sum check.
Okay,
which
with taxes, it's probably like $800,000.
Well, that's the point because you have.
Well, no, actually, it's closer to around $600,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was going to say
$600,000 or $700,000.
They're going to get about a third.
Yeah,
almost as high as a third in taxes.
Where does she live?
Michigan.
Well,
that's why she got 2 houses.
Now, hold on. There's more to this story. Now, not only was she collecting food stamps, there's another gentleman, also a lottery winner, in Michigan, by the name of Leroy Fick, who is also fighting to keep his food stamps.
How much did he win?
It doesn't say. After winning the lottery on Michigan's Make Me Rich, Leroy Fick is fighting the state's attempt to keep him from collecting the state aid in form of food stamps. And he's got an attorney. Now, I understand that when you win a lottery, it's a lump sum. It's not technically income.
Yeah, it is.
Which is what food stamps is. Food stamps bases itself off of income. Now, you do have to open up your bank account to them so that they can look at it. Now, if you're collecting food stamps before you get on the lottery, you have to claim that, and then food stamps is supposed to look at this and then decide to either...
Is that federally or statewide?
It's state.
I wonder if it's the same thing in Michigan.
It's a state-run program.
So I wonder if it's the same thing in Michigan then.
I've been on food stamps. You remember that I got unemployed, lost all my stuff, had to start trying to figure out what I was going to do. Now, I got on food stamps for a little while. I got on disability. I didn't open up my bank account to them. I just stopped collecting the food stamps on my own. I didn't ask them to, because what they'll do is they usually cut down the amount that you get and then will wean you off of it type thing is what they want to do. I didn't want them even to do that. I just told them to shut it off. Now, these guys, I don't know what they're thinking. Is it free money? Is it what's the mentality there? But they just got, I don't know how much Fick got, but even anything, you get a couple $100,000 from even the low end lottery winners.
But an interest on $600 or even $1 million is enough to live on monthly.
Exactly,
right?
that's an income. But
could you put it in a standard account and get enough?
$600,000 at 10% is only $60,000 a year. You can't find 10% anywhere.
Well, that's $60,000 a year, though.
Yeah, but
that you could live off of $60,000 a year
if you could find 10%. My point is, I don't think you can. I think you can find 2%.
You can find around 2%.
So you're talking,
and that's the higher end of collecting
less than $10,000.
Yeah, but still, you have that much money in there. She did something smart. She bought a new house and rented it out to other people. That's an income source.
Right.
This other guy, I don't know what he's doing, but either way, that's still money that you need to claim
Yeah, how did they not turn it off as soon as they won the lottery? Is what I want to know. Because you're assuming,
Well,
okay,
it's not as soon as they get whatever stipend, if they're doing it
well, as soon as they get the $600,000 as she got it, and she actually deposited it.
Right.
Because I'm assuming then that they should be able to say, okay, well, she has money, we're going to turn it off.
Most states have a reporting requirement, and I don't know if it's monthly, quarterly, or what it is, but usually what you have to do is you have to declare, okay, I now have this income and this amount of money. And so theoretically, she should have done that in the reporting.
Yeah,
she should have put in, okay, I won $600,000,
and then her caseworker should have jumped on that.
And then somebody should have said, okay, you're no longer, through this period of time, you're no longer eligible for food stamps. But that's all that should have been done.
She got that last year. We're now in March. I don't know what month it said, but still,
that should be at least quarterly by now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the report should have been done by now.
But the problem with that is, did she actually do that? Now, I'm not blaming the state people because not everybody pays attention to who won the lottery at what time.
Right.
Something
I don't know who won the lottery last time in California. I don't care.
Well, my thought is that if they're having some way of watching the bank account, something should have flagged up and say, okay, now there's $600,000.
Yeah, but you also have to think about the labor that's in there. This is a moral and ethical issue that is put on these people. Do they really think that they're entitled to this? That's the problem. They do. There's a lot of these people that think they're entitled to government welfare, and this is what my dad's been complaining about this for a long time, is we are living in a welfare state. Not just California, but just countrywide.
I'd almost say worldwide at this point, at least first world countries.
Say worldwide. I mean, there are some other ones out there.
I think from the limited I know of the first world nations, it's happening all over the place.
It is. It actually is. But yeah, I just saw this, and then I noticed that they also had a link to another guy that's even fighting it with a lawyer, saying that he.
So do you think the lawyer's doing it for free, or do you think this guy's actually paying him?
He probably is paying him. I mean, there's no lawyer that says that, oh, you're a lottery winner, I'll do this pro bono.
Right.
There is no lawyer that's going to do that.
So this guy's going to end up losing all his money by the time he gets done with this case.
Probably.
Who knows? Who knows?
But I don't think that you ever need to be on... Yeah, there's some people also out there that are saying that you shouldn't have a car, you shouldn't have a phone, you shouldn't have anything before collecting food stamps. Now, I don't think you need to go that far.
No.
Because if you have a car, if you have a phone, those are ways that you are able to get a job.
Right.
Exactly.
And if you can have supplemental income of where you can actually pay for gas instead of putting it on food so that you can eat, so that you can go and find a job.
Exactly.
Or make the phone calls, things like that.
Right.
I think that's fine to collect food stamps on that. I don't think that you should be able to collect welfare if you have everything like that. If you're running out of that, then you should be collecting welfare and then turning around and trying to get your car and your phone situated through welfare income.
Yeah, see, the phone
so you can get a job.
The phone I understand. I think the phone is at least a minimum requirement for everything.
Yeah.
You've got to at least have some sort of way to make a call. The car...
Well, where we live, I think a car is more suitable.
If you live in the
city, then no, you shouldn't really need a car. You should go with the public transportation.
You could use a Muni.
Yeah, you can do public transportation or something like that. But you know what I'm saying. Up here, you need more transportation because you got about 5-6 miles, depending on where you live, before you can even get to a place that's a business.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Well, California is not commuter friendly as far as commuting on buses, trains, that type of thing. We're too widespread. We're too large. Unless you're living in the actual city itself, it's very difficult to get around.
San Francisco,
San Francisco,
the Bay Area.
Right. But with that said, who can afford to live in the Bay Area and be on welfare, so that you've got that other side of the coin there? That's too expensive a place to live.
True.
So, I don't know that I agree with you on the welfare thing as far as the car goes, because I believe it's important that if you're on welfare and you need to get to a job, you got to have the means to do it.
Well, that's what I was more saying, is that you can't afford gas, and then you get welfare, and then you can support gas that way. But you shouldn't be able to just be... Well, I can see your point there.
Yeah,
I can see that, but I just think that you should be in a more dire straits before you get on welfare than food stamps.
And I don't know what you would consider dire straits, but I think you got an awful lot of homeless population right now, and some of them, all they have is their car, and they live in their car. So
that's true.
I don't know. You know what? That's a tough issue. No matter how you look at it, and no matter if you're conservative like we are or liberal or something, the issue of welfare and food stamps is going to be a debate that's going to go on for a long time.
Well, that's the problem, is that welfare and food stamps is more of one of those situational by situational settings.
Right.
And that's why it's more dependent on the caseworker to get to know the people that they're dealing with.
Right.
Now, the problem is that you have a lot of employees and caseworkers that have been so burned by people who lie to them or try to work the system, that they lose their ability to care.
Well, and
I'm not saying that all caseworkers don't care. I'm saying that there are
they're overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The staff is cut way back to nothing. These poor caseworkers are so overwhelmed that you can't get to everybody. I mean,
and you can't blame them for being.
No, I'm not blaming the caseworkers.
I'm just saying you can't blame them for being, burned out and just saying no to everybody, because half the people or certain people are trying to abuse the system.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the legitimate people who are getting screwed.
No matter what you do, there's always somebody who's going to kind of find a different angle and mess with that, and try to find a different way in. So
and that's where it comes down to these two lottery winners that are trying to keep collecting food stamps.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah.
Does it say what type of house she bought?
No.
Until she runs out of money.
You can probably find that out, though.
Which, statistically, lottery winners blow through their money in under 5 years.
Yeah.
That's because they have no idea how to manage their money.
They don't know how to manage it, and they go out and buy all the stuff they didn't have, and then they're left without money. Yeah. So she'll be back on it. If she's off of it now, she'll be back on it again in 5 years.
Well, the only problem is it's going to be harder to get her to get back on it because what she's doing now. That's my question.
I don't know. I'm not a caseworker.
Like I said,
I would be
curious.
do
one smart thing and bought a house and rented it, and then she's still thinking that.
Well, hopefully she bought these things outright, and then she'll always have an income. But she's going to have to make sure she makes enough money put aside for taxes. For property taxes and upkeep on the house and all that. And who's to say she's got enough money to continue doing that?
Well, if she did it right, she'd do it through like a property management place.
Well, if she still has a couple $100,000 sitting in the bank that she hasn't spent from the lottery winnings, she can manage that over the years.
One would hope so, but again, like I said, statistically, it doesn't show that they do that. And I think, Jonathan, you hit the nail on the head: is get somebody to advise them, somebody legitimate that just doesn't want to steal their money, to make some good advice. And unfortunately,
listen to Clark Howard.
I don't think the states at all provide anybody or any suggestions on how you should manage your money.
Well, it's not really their job.
No, they don't.
No, it's not their job. But in some respects, it's too bad that they can't say, it is our suggestion that you do something through a money manager and get it done. But
if I look at the government's history of managing its own money, I don't want them advising me in anything.
Exactly.
Honestly.
I mean, if you're going to do it, listen to guys like Clark Howard.
Yeah, well, the nice thing about the government and money is that they think they can keep printing it, and that's what they do. So they spend way more than, you and I can't go and spend in our checking accounts and overspend by $1 billion and say, I'll just print out some more money to put in.
I can't wait for the first $1 billion dollar bill.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
So do we want to do this commercial bread fiasco?
Yeah, I want to do that.
Do you want to do yours first?
Let me do mine. We'll go back to you. This is James and I came across this story together, and we kind of found this was really, really funny. There's and it reads: a 21-year-old Florida man is facing a felony rap for allegedly prying a judge's nameplate off the courtroom door, a crime that was solved after a photo showing him holding the hot sign that was posted to his girlfriend's Facebook page. So he stole this judge's name right off the door during the court time, and then the guy's a brain surgeon and goes and posts it on Facebook.
I don't know if he did or his girlfriend, but either way, you have a picture of you with a hot item.
That's right.
Dumb.
Right.
Stupid. Dumb. That makes my brain hurt.
Yeah, I know. I'll finish with the story said that according to the sheriff's report, he last month removed the nameplate from the courtroom at 5840 at the Broward County Courthouse in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He appeared in court February 23rd before the judge in connection with a misdemeanor theft case. So this guy's already a thief, so we know that. A day later, Broward County Sheriff's Office deputies received an anonymous tip fingering the guy and his girlfriend in the theft of Orlando's nameplate, and that's the Chiefs.
It's a felony?
The judges, yeah. A check of the woman's Facebook page showed that the defendant posing with the sign. According to the sheriff's report, his picture above the Facebook photo was him holding the judge's sign. So, after matching up the Facebook photo with a mugshot, deputies busted him for stealing the sign valued at a whole $40, $39.45 to be exact. And so the defendant knew that the sign he was holding was stolen and thus deprived Broward County of its right to the sign. So the county lost the $40 sign. So while the theft of such an inexpensive item would normally be treated as a misdemeanor, the guy that was pictured in this photo on one of the
Facebook.
On Facebook, but it was also on what's the other thing that we get?
Twitter?
No, anyway. He was posted on one of the areas where and anyway, on the number of, let's just put it this way. His picture with the sign was posted on many different areas on the internet, not only Facebook. So while the theft of such an inexpensive item would normally be treated as a misdemeanor, so this guy he's on parole. So he's on parole and has several prior petty theft convictions. So the case has been upgraded to a felony. So for stealing a $40 nameplate sign, posting it on Facebook, he went from a misdemeanor to a felony. So now he's felony stupid, like I like to call it, and so now he's facing a felony because of it. So
I think it's fine that he is facing a felony for that because of the blatancy of what he did.
Smoking gun.
Yeah,
the smoking gun. That's what I was saying. Okay. It's on smoking gun. Sorry.
Okay, so it is on smoking gun.
Yeah.
I just think that the blatant audacity that he has to steal that in the courthouse for a judge that's presiding over his case, yeah, he deserves a felony.
Well, yeah, obviously
that guy has some balls, though. Steal it from a courthouse door?
I don't think it has anything to do with testosterone. I think it has to do with lack of brain cells.
No, I just meant balls just to do it so blatantly. I mean, Well, it's interesting. You mean, so he found a period of time in the courthouse building when there was no law enforcement or anybody else around? Or was this one of these signs that just kind of slipped in and took him a half a second to steal? It doesn't matter. It says pried it out. So I'm assuming it takes some sort of
what an
force.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Idiot. You go into the idiot file. So as far as I'm concerned, you're the idiot and you belong there as a felony because you can get to sleep with all those other boys that want to sleep with you. So. Yeah. All right. Next.
Okay. So what we're going to be talking about is hair in your bread.
So my wife, Paula, is just all totally freaked out about the story about hair being used in bread. So tell us the story, James.
Okay. So what it looks like, what is going on, is that a lot of these companies, these big companies, I won't name drop any of these big companies that might be doing this. I don't know. The story doesn't tell me, but I can hypothesize. These companies are looking to kind of cut corners in making bread products. Now, one of the problems with making a bread product, now, you viewers probably don't know this, but I'm actually a classically trained chef, so I do understand a lot of these components, is that they're trying to cut the corners of not using yeast and starters, which are basically yeast that you've already kind of processed and gotten them going, because these take time. You have to rise the dough multiple times. You have to knead the dough, work it to get the gluten development so that the structure in the bread is very nice and firm. So one of the ways that these companies are cutting this corner is they're taking L-cysteine from hair. From human hair, which is a compound in there that gives our hair structure.
Is it only in human hair? Is it in?
They make it sound like it only comes from human hair, that it's an extraction from human hair. I don't know if this is something. I'm not that big of a scientist. So I don't know if it's actually found in animal hair as well, horse hair, things like that. But what they're doing is they're using this. They're extracting this chemical or compound that is found in human hair. It's got hold on, let's see what this actually says. These products are then sprayed with chemicals such as calcium and propionate to prevent the growth of mold. And this lovely person misspelled mold. Must have been John writing it. Anyway.
Probably me.
Anyway, so what they're doing is they're spraying this to keep it, to preserve it and cut these corners. And it's nothing bad. It's not like they're actually taking the hair and doing it. It's just another additive that's going in our food. It's nothing harmful. It's nothing bad.
Well, the harmful that we don't know that it's harmful.
It's nothing in our body. It's nothing in there that's already not in our body. It's a non-essential amino acid is what they're saying. It's obtained from human hair. And that it's, let's see. It's just to help give it some structure and also to prevent mold and things like that.
So this
it's
is something
basically the same thing.
You would find in commercial bakeries versus your local bakery.
Yeah.
So the large commercial bakeries are using this L-cysteine, L-cysteine, to help with the rising and the structure and the manufacture of the dough, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Who in the world ever figured that one out? I mean, that's
I don't know.
That's one of those things you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the old statement like, if you knew how sausage would make, you would never eat sausage. So I
know how sausage is made. It doesn't bother me.
But the point is, how did they figure this out? And now, my understanding, James, you knew this years ago. This is nothing new to you.
Well, I didn't know about the human hair, but what John was bringing up that I knew about years ago is the MRM, which people are freaking out about. Now, MRM stands for mechanically recovered meat.
Oh, we're talking about the pink ooze, pink
the pink slime.
Pink slime in the meat. That's right. That's a different issue. Okay.
That's a totally different issue, but it's the same thing.
But it's kind of the same idea.
People find out what it is,
yeah,
and they freak out about it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Well, okay, now the sausage thing that you brought up is from way back before we even have the FDA. It's the reason why we got the FDA.
The jungle.
Right.
Yeah.
Because everything under the sun was shoved into that sausage. And
it wasn't that everything under the sun was shoved into the sausage. It's just that the health practices that were going on at that time is they would actually put the sausage on the floor. Mm-hmm. And then the rats would get to it. There'd be feces mixed in there. And what they would do is they just grind it up anyway.
Yeah.
Cook it. And then serve it to people because they figured that the heating process was going to kill anything bad in there.
Right.
Which was somewhat true, that it would kill some of the bacteria and some of the things that were in there, but it wouldn't kill everything that was in there.
Right.
Most organisms only die at 181 degrees. You don't want to eat anything that's cooked to 181 degrees.
Yeah, it's charcoal at that point.
It's charcoal or rubber.
Yeah.
So, but the MRM thing is a completely different issue.
Yeah.
This is something that what they do is they take the carcasses that have already had all the good meat cleaned off of it. There's little pieces of meat that are going to be stuck in around the bones and joints and little areas like that.
Right.
They put it in there, they crush it all up, and then they force it through another thing, and what comes out is what you guys are referring to as the pink slime.
From what I understand is they put it through a centrifuge. So what's left in the centrifuge is this product that's almost ready for pink slime. So then they have this, it's basically a liquid. It's more like a gel.
Yeah, it's
and
gel.
then it goes through a final stage of actually where it gets misted with ammonia. Mm-hmm. And that ammonia is to kill any bacteria that's in it. And then it gets used in the processing of basically ground beef.
It's a little bit farther than ground beef. Because what it comes out is what you're actually eating with it is you're eating the marrow, you're eating leftover tendons, ligaments, and about what you're looking at is only about 5 to 6% meat. That's what's left.
Or less, according to what I heard.
Or
yes,
less.
Right.
But it comes down to basically about 5 to 6% meat, depending on what carcass is in there.
So does it look,
now, it's all about guesstimations. You don't know how much meat you're actually getting. You don't know how much protein you're getting. Right. But you are still getting some nutrient benefits from the marrow. There are some actual protein strands and things like that still left in the ligaments and the tendons.
Well, from what I heard, though,
it's not unhealthy. It's just not unadvisable to use this as something to eat every day.
Well, again, it's my understanding that the manufacturers that are providing a ground, and it's a ground product because you don't put it on a steak, you don't put it on, so it's going into ground products, whatever it may be. I would say
it's a mechanically processed thing. It's
okay, whatever.
But could you still make bologna like how that's made? Extruded meat.
It's close to the consistency of bologna when it's done. Have you guys ever had a Vienna sausage?
Yeah.
That's basically the mechanically recovered meat.
Right. But the reason it's used is to pump up the volume so that they can make more money because now this meat weighs more.
Yes.
That's the only reason it's used. It's not used for a health reason. It's not used for any other reason other than to boost the volume and make it heavier.
Yeah, to fill it.
Okay, so all we're going to do is line the pockets of all the meat manufacturers that provide.
But what they basically came down to is they looked at it and they said, we're wasting all this product. How can we make money off
You know what? That's not true, because those products used to go on and go into animal feeds. Used to go to dog food and all this other stuff. So now they decided, because you can get more money out of feeding a human than you can feeding a dog, we're going to do it and we're going to use it in the human food. It's pure greed. It's pure greed is all it is. So let's see where that goes. Well, anyway.
Well, like I'm saying, is that it's nothing bad. You don't need to freak out about it.
Yeah.
But you should be informed about it.
Right.
You shouldn't be, hot air up your skirt.
Well, I think as the public gets aware of the issue, why it's being used, what it's there for, I think there'll be less of it being used, because now more and more people being educated about what it is, and I certainly don't want it in my meat.
One of the things I think is that we freak out about stuff like this. We don't need to. I think you need to know about it. I don't think that you should ever be uninformed about what is in your food. One of the big things that I kind of got upset about is the whole thing about McDonald's back in the day using beef lard for their fries. Their fries, I mean, they were never that great. They tasted a lot better a long time ago. Now they just taste, nasty.
Yeah.
But you don't need to freak out about it. I think it was a little bit of a lie that they were passing off as vegetarian.
Right.
They were.
Right.
They were passing off as vegetarian. I think that's, don't lie.
Right.
Don't lie about it. If you're going to be putting something in there, don't lie about it.
Be honest with the process. Be honest to the public, and you'll be treated fairly. But now everybody's providing ground beef, and meats are just going to say, I'm not sure what's in it.
I'm still upset that you can't buy, you can't buy anything but lean ground beef. In your local, mass supermarkets.
That's because everybody wanted to get rid of the fat in the ground beef, and there's all the flavor, in which makes the ground beef the best.
Yeah,
and
you can't really buy 80-20 ground beef anymore.
Yeah.
So you think
you can't buy you can't really buy 80-20, but I actually personally want 70-30.
Yeah.
That's what I look for.
Gives a flavor.
But you can't barely even buy 80-20. Now you're looking at 90-10.
So do you think this is going to start far as, everybody, going to like pick a pig? I mean, because now it almost seems like a good business to have an area where you're selling pigs, where you can, say, I want this pig, and when it's time, you'll just get, a couple of 100 pounds worth of pork or...
That'd be nice.
People do it all the time. We could go to our local butcher, which is, a couple miles down the road, and you could order up whatever you want on that. There's a lot of people that are doing it. You want a side of cow or whatever, you can get that. You want a side of pig, you can get that. They'll butcher it and put it into what you want.
Yeah. See, I think that's cool. I mean, I think that's maybe people should do now more.
Well, not only
hopefully people will do that more, but like we were just stating, in the cities, sometimes it's hard to find a good butcher that's going to do that.
Yeah. It's not like it used to be where every everybody had a local butcher.
Up here, I mean, we only had one butcher for a long time.
Yeah.
And now we actually have two that are nearby.
Right.
That are they're both really good.
Well, I also recommend at any period of time, if people can get things like elk or deer or any of the game meats, if you haven't tried it, do it, because if you've never been a hunter or you've never tried it, the meats are great.
I love boar.
Oh yeah, boar's
boar.
good. But the only thing I haven't really liked, and maybe because it's never been made real well, is turkey. Wild turkey is pretty stringy.
Oh, wild turkey,
it's not a good one, but everything else out there is pretty neat. And,
I think I'd go with emu over elk. But...
emu's good, but I still like elk the best.
I like buffalo.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing that we've done.
It all goes to your personal taste, honestly.
We have replaced an awful lot of our ground meats now. Instead of cow, we're going bison.
Bison's good.
Get a lot of bison.
The problem with bison, especially ground, is that you have to take it to such a high temperature that it can get chewy.
Yes, but they add more fat into it, and so there's a little more flavor in it, and it's in it,
bison's a lean animal, anyways.
True. But I think these are commercially raised bison, so we're not talking about bison that are running on the range. This is a commercial operation.
So it's a bison standing in one place.
Pretty much, yeah, and fed,
Kobe.
So anyway,
bison.
Kobe.
Kobe bison.
So here's a joke. We've beat that horse to death. Let's move on. Who's got the next story? Is it me?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we got all the stories.
I've got a couple of product things that I want to show. One of the neat things is we got this. If you followed our videos on Old High Tech TV and you watched us at the SHOT Show, one of the people we talked to and have a great relationship is SOG Knives. And
if you can open the box here.
Yeah, if I can get the box open. SOG Knives is going to provide us with a few examples, a few different type of, and I'll move into me, different type of knives. And this is their, oh my God, they're going to kill me because I can't remember the name of it. It's kind of like their skeleton knife, I believe. It's a real thin, I'll put it over.
It says black access card.
Okay, that's it. They call it the access card because it's the size of a credit card in size. And it's it's a full-blown, pretty doggone nice knife.
And it's a sharp knife,
and
too.
Very, very sharp. Very well made. It's all steel. It might be aluminum.
It looks
frame,
like
but
it's stamped.
But this is a well-made steel knife that's very thin. Look how thin it is. You can put it in your pocket, and if you're wearing dress clothes or whatever, you can have a knife with you that doesn't portray that you're carrying a knife. It's got a clip that it clips to your pocket if you want. My only issue with it, I mean, it has a locking blade button. That's fine. The one thing it doesn't have is a finger nick or a finger button that helps you open this knife single-handed.
I thought that's what that slot at the top was for.
Yeah, I think that's the theory.
Because I can do it, kind of.
The reality is it doesn't work all that well. So I mean,
because I've got some pretty big hands, so it's not. It's a little difficult.
See how difficult it is? You're not going to do it in a hurry.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I could see in product demonstration or improvement and John just about chopped off his finger on that one.
Try flicking it open. Can you do it on that one?
Yeah, you can a little bit. But
I was thinking because you could.
Yeah. Well, it needs some breaking in if you want to do it that way. But the situation is, it's a great little knife. What a neat product.
Awesome. That's very cool.
It is very cool. I do think, like I said, if they added just a little something so that you could open a knife up quickly with one hand, that would improve it. But with that said, you've got a very nice, good handling, fairly good-sized knife to have you when you're in your dress clothes or your shorts or whatever it may be.
If they could do if they could do the assisted opening like the Ken Onion Kershaws have,
well, yeah,
I think that would be cool. If you could just have a button or a little thing, you just flip it open like that.
So thank you, SOG. This is the box it came in, and it's SOG Knives, and they're out of
Washington.
Yeah, out of Washington. Let's see, they're part of the AKTI group, and their website, if you want to look at their website, is www.akti.org.
And don't they have doesn't SOG itself have a website?
I believe
like
SOG
Knives. If you go to Google, type SOG Knives, they have a bunch of
their knives are very, very impressive. Last year we interviewed them as well, and they had some really great roller ball technology. They've got some incredible knives. If you're looking for a quality knife, now I'm not talking about a knife that you're going to buy at Walmart. Wall Street, Walmart. That you're going to want to go to SOG and look at their knives because high quality, well made, great company, made here in the United States, and I think that's perfect. So SOG, thank you. I know that you've got a couple other products that you're going to be sending our ways in the next couple of months, and we look forward to seeing them. They came out with a whole new line of flashlights, tactical flashlights that they're going to be doing, and there's just so many knives, it's incredible. So we thought we picked 3 different versions, and we're going to demonstrate them to you. And we may work with this a little bit more, actually, as a one-on-one knife show. So anyway, everybody knows that Apple made an announcement on Wednesday.
Yep,
right?
It's just called the iPad.
So now the answer has been answered. The question has been answered as to what are they bringing out, what they're announcing. So Apple went ahead and announced the fact that they're bringing out a new iPad, and it's called the iPad.
It's just called the iPad.
The new iPad.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. They're actually calling it the new iPad. So I wanted to show you something. I was all excited. I'm one of those guys. I went right online as soon as they opened it up and ordered one, and I hope to have one next week, and maybe we can get it in before I take off and do and show you what it is. But this is what came in the mail yesterday. I got all excited. It's the cover.
It's the smart cover.
It's the smart cover. Yeah. And so what I thought is I've had this iPad original or classic. I think we're going to call it the iPad Classic for a long time. And so I was trying to see how it fit in there and see if there was any size difference between the third generation iPad and the first, and there isn't. And my understanding is that the new iPad is also going to be about the same thickness as the classic was, which was a little thicker than the second.
I think from what I remember reading, the difference is there's more pixels on here. The pixel per inch is more. I think it's a dual core processor with a quad core graphics processor.
That's right. That's my understanding.
This is the first Apple product that I know of that comes out with the 4G. So I'm assuming it uses LTE and HSPA plus,
right?
Which is the AT&T one,
right?
It has the Retina display, which allegedly, if you a couple of inches in front of your face or whatnot, you're not supposed to be able to see the pixels.
It's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous.
The one thing that I agree, I wish they put on here is I wish they put like a micro SD port slot in there.
Yeah, everybody complained about that, although I don't find that a problem because they make an adapter that you can plug in, and also.
Some of these people are saying, for one, if you wanted, like for you have the adapter to transfer in. But I'm saying if you only could afford the 16 gig model and you wanted to add more memory.
Right.
So if you got like a 32 gig
you could
card,
not add,
you can't do that.
I understand.
That's a lot of people are complaining about. Well, because it's almost $1,000.
You can't. Oh, it is. Trust me, it is $1,000. I went ahead and ordered the full-blown 64 gigabyte. Both Wi-Fi and through Verizon now. This old one originally is through AT&T. I went with the Verizon one. So I'm looking forward to doing some product demonstration with that thing because you're right. The quad-core video is supposed to be just with the Retina display.
They say say in theory it's supposed to be better than the Integra 3, which I think is the Intel. I think.
Yeah, okay. So that may be. But anyway, the point is it's coming. I hope to get it next week. And so we can get into that a little bit more, some more product demonstrations as we get some more stuff in. And I'm looking forward to getting my third generation iPad, whatever you want to call it. But believe it or not, I think Apple's calling it the new iPad.
See, they should have just called it the 2S. That way they can keep with the way they're doing their iPhone.
So. Actually, this goes so far beyond the second version. They needed to call it 3.
Well, no, because they still. I mean, that's what they do. They at least the iPhone. They come out with the iPad, the iPhone 2, the 2S, the 3GS.
How much they added on, and it's supposedly it's so many generations beyond what I have in the Classic. And I really like my Classic. It works really well. So. Sorry about that. But anyway, we'll look forward to doing that. That's all I have. Do you guys have anything else?
Nope,
that's it. Okay, so here we go. Rob Charney, Old Guy Tech TV for March 9th, 2012. Thank you, and we'll see you soon. This episode of Old Guy Tech TV is brought to you by Ward's Automotive, specializing in Banks Power and Pack Brake, servicing your car or truck and specializing in diesel engines. Over 30 years of service, located in Diamond Springs, California. Give them a call at 530-626-5588.